我把我家英文念错念过。
有人有问题。
每次看会结束之后我就觉得好，然后大概到过了1个月之后，我就把这件事忘了。
我就每次成绩出来就要换
来练习一下我的知识分。
大家可以开整哦，一些
同意练 present
对，然后这样没有人参加过模拟啊，
可是我不要很慢。
好，超级分享，那我可以抽奖。我有点忘。
地方的那个，你为什么在？我也是。好怕。
那我觉得就是待会
你们有吃吗？
没有。因为 MCP 要先做。
靠要干的老师。
怎样
？Shit。
然后把东西踢出去。
Hey, AIESEC.
What's up?
How do you feel right now? Excellent. Yeah. So, are you excited about to decide who is going to be our 1920 MCP? Are you excited about to decide who is our 1920 MCP?
Yes!
Okay. So let's start today's election. So first of all, I will briefly explain what we are going to do in election day here today. So first is about the external panel. So later we will have the external partners to have some conversation with our candidates. And after that, we will go through LC question. And after LC question, we will have time for public questioning. So will be the last space for all the delegates can ask any questions that you want for the candidates. Okay. So still remind you. So after that, we will have the break for LC to discuss whether or not. After that, we will have the break. Sorry. So for the candidates to prepare themselves for the final speech. Okay. And after final speech is the time for you to decide whether you trust the candidates or not. And after that, you will have another LCD discussion time for you to do the final voting, which you are going to decide who is our 1920 MCP. Okay, clear? Okay. Then now we are going to explain a little bit about the external panel. So for the external partner, please behave as the young leader that we always pursuing, like the 6 value we live in. Okay, and all the delegates should show the respect toward the external. So please be sure that you respect every conversation and also fully participate in this external panel as well. So just like what we have already set the behavior, please always remind in your mind. And for the bell reminder, we will have, when there's 20 minutes left, we will ring the bell once. And when there are 5 minutes left, we will ring the bell twice. And when there are 1 minute left, we will ring the bell 3 times. And when the time's up, we will ring the bell non-stop. Okay, because in the external panel, it will be like a conversations space with the candidates will have the conversation with our externals. and you will totally go through 15 minutes. So now let's officially start this external panel. And first of all, let's welcome our external. First is Miss Cara Stingstra. Please welcome. Is Miss Beatrice Wall. And both lady is from our lovely learning partner Zealous. Okay. Okay. So and also we are going to invite our MCP to Jarvis to be our host for this conversation. Okay, so right now, we are also going to welcome our candidates coming to the room. So remember, when they come in, we all stand up and cheer for them, okay? Okay. So let's welcome candidate number 1 and candidate number 2.
Okay, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, today I will be the host of this talk show. So, we will have like the external talk show to all of you guys to also know more about these two candidates. And for this talk show, it's very honored for us to invite Alex to let the candidates and the panel to know more about the candidate, but also to let all the panel know that what leadership really is from the external perspective. So we not only pursue leadership within AIESEC, but also how the externals also know and understanding these particular words. So later on, that I would like to invite our guests to have the conversations with our candidates. So I will hand the time to our guests, to Cara and Beatrice.
And Tony, how are you? Still okay? Oh, so maybe let's start to the question about losing voice as a leader. Yes, because we normally say a leader, they have their vision, what they see. Another thing I'm interested to know, what do you think the impact or the influence that the voice of the leader, what do you think that what it can do? So maybe starting from someone is losing the voice, so to share with us some of the insight. What do you think that as a leader, what does his voice does? What are the things that this person can do?
Okay. Yeah, sounds better. No, it's fine. And for me, like based on previous day, I use my all of my power and all of my effort to do the LC based issue of LC. So part most of the maybe LC will think that, oh my god, I lose my voice a lot. The thing I want to do is originally a leader or the influence of a voice. It's just like what kind of tone, what kind of emotion we put into our words. Because the words call the power. Maybe sometimes we'll think about, okay, let's do it, or even let's do it. That's totally different. So just like what is the power of the voice? It's not only about the words we say. It's all about the tone and also our energy, how much we put into the voice, and make sure we influence the whole panel. So sometimes we'll feel like some delivery you need to slow down. Because I slow down, it will make a deep reflection. But sometimes when energize all of it, you need to shout, you need to use the power, because the entity will see how as a leader you look like. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, so for me, how I perceive the voice of the leader would be like people who can really speak influentially, and also people who every word he or she mentioned about would be really perseverance. That we can convince the people to believe with him or her and follow her. And also every word that comes from leader's mouth should be very firm, which means you couldn't be changed no matter in which kind of situation. So like the leader have their own core value and to demonstrate it by themselves and also shape this culture to the panel. Yeah, so that was in my opinion. Thank you.
So now I would like to get into a little bit more personal about the voice question. So if a leader is sort of like a shepherd, all of your flock can share. So we supposedly your voice when you say something, and then the follower would follow you. Do you have any experience about when you try to say something, but the follower seems they heard your voice was not following? So did you have any experience like that? If you have, can you share a bit with us, and how did you cope with that?
I share about one time, like a white deliver session. I want to instruct all the membership to do what is the following process we're going to do. But the scenario is, I try to explain, try to like let them know what's the instruction, but all they just get downstairs and, huh, what happened? So the thing is, I realized that first of all, if our words when we deliver is clear, or we just talk too fast to let it know. At that moment, I didn't realize that I talked too fast, or even I didn't give the really clear information for them, so I feel really confused. But at that moment, I cancel the process because I think that no one will follow this process. And after that, there's some person tell me that you should give it. Why? It's not to like when you see the situation, you change it. You need to change what the way you deliver. You need to change what kind of the information you want to share. You want to share. You can use a lot of things. It's not only about the like your voice. It's all about body language. Try to explain all of it, and try to make sure everyone is clear. That moment I realized that leader is not a person like who just think about you put out a voice and put out your what is your thoughts, everyone will follow it. It's just like how much you put your effort to make sure everyone understand what is your opinion, what's your thinking. You keep communicating, keep communicating, and then they will realize what is your emotion, what's your intention, and why you're doing this. So that's my experience. That's why this is I want to share with it.
And as for me, it's like mainly focusing on like when I'm sure about my strategy to my network, but usually like they really didn't implement it. Yeah. So the reason why like I'm thinking about why didn't like the LC or even though like a lot of stakeholders they didn't want to follow my strategy, most of this because like we didn't really tell them about the objective or even though the reason or the perspective we have seen is like behind this kind of strategy. So for me, it's like after like facing this kind of problem, I'm thinking about what the next time when I deliver a strategy, I'll first communicate about the why. Like why I have this strategy and what kind of insight did I see and what kind of data did I like perspective. Yeah, so kind of like share about my perspective and my understanding and then provide my strategy to them. And it will be more convinced and they will be more like wanting to engage it because like maybe you were facing the same problem. Yeah, so that was my story. Yeah, thank you.
So hello to both of you. Yesterday we talked about the benefit mindset that a leader must have. And one of the things is being a role model. So you have to, first of all, be well, and then you can do good. So one of the things that I guess you would experience and losing your voice is quite symbolic because you may have overused your energy, may have overspent some of yourself in trying to lead such a big group of people. So I'm interested to know, how will you two as leaders take care of yourself? How do you prevent burnout? How do you prevent yourself from overspending your energy and your efforts so that you can consistently deliver your message and consistently role model and consistently invite people to follow you to fulfill whatever goal you have for the rest of the year?
So for myself, it's like I will basically like use after my whole day work, I'll give my time for an hour to do a self-reflection for every day. Like before when I speak, yeah, because like I'm thinking about like maybe like every day there's lots of message, lots of like opinions coming from my phone, but like it's seldom we have time to think about what do we want to do or like what are the things that we really care about. So I'm thinking about like every day when I'm trying to like save my time for an hour to think about what the thing I want to do. So for example, I can read my own books, even though watch my movies or something like that to serve my energy for the tomorrow. Yeah. So that would be my solution for it. Yeah. Thank you.
Actually, right now I'm not being well actually because right now I lose my voice. The thing I want to share is about like it happens like even last time of the conference. But I think like being as a leader, being well is really important. Even not only like the like daily work and daily having your time, also work-life balance. I used to be really, really bad at a moment like when I was the LCB of 2017. You know, when I went to Tanzania for like exchange, I realized that oh my god, I'm really fat. At that moment, I truly realized that. Sometimes like your mom told you that you are fat. Okay, I'm fat. I'm fine. Like when you go to like Tanzania, I realize oh my god, what are people that are really thin and never strong? But the thing that when I get back to myself, it let me realize that as a leader, it's not only like after I came back to from Tanzania, I realized I need to work-life balance. So I do the workout and also like have I eat less and also drink some really high protein. That moment I gained like almost like 10 kilograms, like after like only 3 months. But the thing is that my life is getting better. Like I'm not snoring a lot, like during the midnight, but now I'm getting a bit better, so right now I have it. But things is my life is getting better. No matter the thought I think, no matter the way I behave, when I even walk, I can feel my body is getting better. I think the first thing I learned from leaders is self-discipline. You need to make sure all the things that you say that you want to make a big purpose, you want to make the things come true, and just set out your rule by yourself to achieve each kind of balance. Second is about like when you behave this kind of the behavior, yeah, you will truly impact the whole membership. So I don't know why MTP the people like getting really fat. Maybe it's my impact, I don't know. My house in member. Sorry, Tracy. But the thing is that let me realize about like leaders like when you shape, when you show, when you pronounce, and also what are the things you do, you truly impact all of your membership. And let me realize that I need to behave, but behave because of big purpose. And it's not about responsibility. So that's why I learned is on this journey.
Very nice, thank you both. So I really love the self-reflection part and then the self-discipline part. So I think these two go hand in hand, and that leads to my next question. So aside from taking care of yourself, obviously you need to take care of your team. And as a leader, we need to make sure there's a balance of achieving results and at the same time managing the people. So their emotions, managing the relationships. So where do you see, I think, yourself struggling? So for example, for me, I'm much more right-brained than I'm left-brained. So for me, relationships are very important. People are important. I care sometimes too much about how people feel. And shifting myself to being results-oriented may be a little bit hard. So I'm interested to hear, where do you struggle? And how do you aim to balance this back? Because we talked about, there's always balance in taking care of ourselves. But how about the balance in taking care of your team?
Hello. Okay. So thank you, Carlos, for the question. So like for my side, I'm also saying like you, like I'm more people oriented, and like sometimes I also face that problem is like when I'm caring about too many people, care too many about people, but sometimes we will forget the result. So I'm thinking about like how can we like make the result into when we're doing the caring process. So thinking about maybe we care these people is because I believe he or she can do it. So it's like during my personal coaching, I will like be more guiding for them to challenge them. How much can I do more? Well, even though it's like I believe that when you do it, it will definitely grow for yourself. So kind of I will combine the performance result into the personal learning, so that at the same time I can do a balance together. Yeah, that would be my solution for it. Thank you.
I just threw back to when I was the VP of GB1 in 2015. Like that experience taught me a lot. At the moment, I'm really high right brain the people and high initiating and high innovating. That moment is really challenging for me. I already think about the destination over there. So I explain to all the team. I always tell them about the result, tell them about the destination. But for all of our team, they are that brain, so they really need the process and need the logic. I think I already shared with the LCBs to share all the people. When I do the monthly review, I show all my team. It's about like, okay, here's my next month direction. I'm explain of it. And the moment one of my members just share about, I cannot understand what you're saying. Could you please say it again? What you're saying about? So at the moment I realized that, oh my god, I try my best to say all the things I've done, but what they didn't understand. Somehow I realized that maybe it's not just because So I'm always really struggle till now because I also have a really hybrid energy. So we pop out a lot of ideas, really see the result, and tell the result, but no one understands. So I need someone to do the translation to know me what's happening. So the things I do is, it's not to quit, it's not to like fuck up all the things. It's about how can we manage the communication better. So before my like EB meeting, I grabbed one of my EB member, we sit down for dinner. I explain for her about what I'm going to say in this meeting and what is I going to do. So at the moment she knows what I'm going to say. During the meeting, I try to explain again, and she helped me to translate to all the team. I don't know, I have like the language problem or something else. And let me learn a lot is about if you want to do something more, you have struggle, you just need to keep finding the what can we do more and what kind of solution we can have it. And in the end, there's no any problem it cannot be solved. It's all about how much effort and how much time we take part in it and also share all and put in all the effort to try to let everyone know what we're going to do. As a learning from the experience.
So I would like to, this is a more left-brain question, okay? So most of the businesses are driven by three different types of direction. One of them is called product leadership. So one of the examples is like Apple. So it's their product trying to change the customer behavior. So it's about their product and changing the world trend, how they use the phone. Okay, so that's one type. Another type is what we call the cost-driven product or the leadership is, for example, Dyson. So it's about the cost because they are very low cost. So in the market, most of the people will go to their shop because of their cost, is so low, and also most of their product you have to use it daily. So the turnover is really quickly. And finally, one of them is very customer oriented. So you bring in. So Rolls-Royce is what they do with their car is you can customize it. So there's three types of different direction of how a business drive their business. So one is based on the product. So is their product changing the world or changing the customer behavior? Like you need to learn how to use the phone. It's not about I want my phone how I would like it to be done. So one is driven by cost, another one is driven by how they would like to customize it. So what do you think in AIESEC, the way that we do youth development, which direction do you think that AIESEC is more like? So which direction do you think that AIESEC is more familiar with, or the way that we need to run the business in AIESEC?
I think this is a very interesting question. It's about like right now AIESEC is really like have a debate about if we want to engage every young person, engage in every young person in the world, or even right now we transform the flow into about customer flow. So I think right now AIESEC is like the organization we really focus on customer oriented leadership. But for me, my opinion is focused on product development, product leadership. Imagine that in the future, I want to see maybe 3 years after, when you look back when you joined the AIESEC, this organization, you'll feel really proud. It's just because we just reverse all the Taiwanese, the thing about leadership, what a leadership we like. I think that is AIESEC a core about us, about we are the youth organization. We are the youth, and we know what is the youth trend, and we inspire all the youth to join this movement. So what I want to first see AIESEC, this organization, is just about how can our experience can truly echo and also record all of our membership, all of our youth in Taiwan, to let them know, yes, leadership is a future really great solution, no matter in career development and also its diverse and communication. Because the world is getting more complicated, leadership is still really fundamental solution for everyone. How can be a leader can be really like patient to everyone and also solve the complicated diverse issue. So I want to see that AIESEC based on my future viewpoint. I want to see how the experience we can provide and we can design for the youth and raise the topic. We raise some of the awareness. Like we can let all of the social media, all of the people when they think about AIESEC's organization, we already provide what leadership and trend we have. So that is my point of view. I want to say AIESEC goodbye.
Thank you, Tony, and thanks for this question. So for my answer was also be the product leader. Because from my perspective, I think the uniqueness of AIESEC is because we combine two really important elements. One is exchange and one is leadership. Because in external part, also the company organization only focus on one part. But today, AIESEC we combine these two together. So I think we should be more emphasized about how can we really make our exchange become more leadership centralized product instead of only like to follow the customer's needs. Because like from my perspective, I think like the reason why I would like to be customer oriented is because I want to engage and develop every person in the role. So we should be more relevant with the society needs. So I think the things we should change is because this like how can we really perceive our leadership into being more relevant with society needs? Because like leadership is still the fundamental solution for youth for us to develop ourselves. So thinking about how can we really customize our product, we still have the leadership as our core. I'm thinking about how can we make this be more relevant with the society needs. So I think that would be the main solution for now. So how can we really make our product be more growth or even not be more relevant with the society? Yeah, so that would be my opinion. Thank you.
Because as alumni, and also half of my hat is from Zambia, half of it is from alumni. A lot of the AIESEC wording or the slogan is really customer oriented. So it's like what the members need, and then you try to create something for them. So let's generalize this phenomenon that say that AIESEC is more functional or operate in a sense of more customer driven perspective. Yeah. So we have a saying that the problem we have today is coming from the solution from yesterday. If this is what AIESEC is facing as an MCP candidate, what do you think that, because it's sort of like a culture all around the world, the AIESEC is doing that, but both of you seems to me that you're more functional to the idea about AIESEC should do more on product leadership. So it is about educating the customer about this is our product and that will help you, and you should change your behavior to try to adopt that because it's going to benefit you. So to face this issue, how do you see that you can start to do? Maybe it's not like in 1 year you're going to change everything. But what do you think that what are the things that you can start doing to try to shape that culture from thinking that we're very customer oriented to become more product leadership driven?
The pages is really interesting when doing the open speech. I tell everyone that I hate customer flow. The reason is why is about I agree about AI is that we need to provide a standard quality of the project, and that's commitment. So one of the thing is about the reason why right now we are because already is about our mindset. Though we have customer flow, we have the operation, but then I want to emphasize about like the words you use different can truly change your mindset. No matter in the past we use operation flow, we focus on how can we develop leadership quality and even leadership experience. Right now we just went more focused on like the customer. So I want to think the one thing I need to also invite all of you, it's just about how can we change our mindset, even we call the customer flow, but original intention, we need to focus on customer experience, we need to focus on experience journey map. It's all about user leadership experience happen. No matter what I'm saying, it's about maybe GV can combine, we need to do the practical facilitation. When the EP or training go to a different country, they have cross culture crash. The thing we need to do is guide them to see what their strengths, what is their weaknesses, and how to adapt this culture, how to experience different kinds of culture exchange. For GT, how can they live in a diverse global diverse career environment? What I want to emphasize about maybe Prism is a really good tool to let me know what is our thinking, what is our neuroscience, and what is our behavior, and how can we adapt to the career, to your company when you go abroad, or even when the training comes to Taiwan, you can tell the company, yeah, that is your intern look like. Based on the reference, it shows that yeah, you need to fit for this environment, and maybe you can co-create different kind of challenge for the trainees to let them know what environment, what kind of learning environment will look like. So it's not only about the way we do, also mindset we need to be changed. When I'm at a travel agency, when I'm at a tourism attraction, we are the organization who develop youth leadership. So I want to foresee AIESEC Taiwan in the future. With all of us, we are proud of we can facilitate everyone's life-changing experience in their different journey. So that's my sharing.
Thank you. So but for me, it's I think for customer flow, it's just like a process. So it's we have to think about is our product, the core of our product is still leadership. So the reason why we have customer flow is because we have to make sure the process is be more smoothly and be more well to make our customer know this product. So for my perspective, new customer flow is just only to make sure all the touch points is clear and that's all. But we should think about it more as in each touch point, how can we emphasize our leadership, this concept in it. And also for like GB and GT or even GE, these three different products, we still have those different kind of value proposition. So how can we really connect it together and put it into our Taiwan society and make the product be more relevant with the society needs? So I think that we wouldn't lose our focus or lose our answers about leadership. For the newcomer flow, it's just only for a flow to make the process be more clear and be more smooth. Yeah, that's my answer. Thank you.
So I really enjoyed the conversation around the customer experience journey, thinking about the touch points that these potential customers are going to have in their experience with AIESEC. And that's your product side, right? So I'm going to go back to your leadership side where you've got to manage a whole big team to get all of these things working. And one of the things that happens in any situation where you put a lot of people together is conflict. And the main reason why there's conflict is usually a communication breakdown. And the reason behind a communication breakdown is usually a lack of trust. Because I either don't believe you, or I'm not sure this is what you mean, or I have other interpretations of what you said. So as leaders, what are some of your own personal practices to build trust, to promote trust, and to ensure that the communication, whenever there's any kind of communication breakdown like this, it doesn't escalate to conflict? So I want to hear more personal things, like what do you actually do in these areas?
Okay, sorry. Okay, so for myself, it's like I will do more for the engaging process. It's like recently, like, cause me, I'm really a people-oriented leader. So like I usually like really say a lot, like caring about people's feeling and caring about people's ideas. So for me, I will do more about the engaging process. So I will engage your idea at the very beginning, and then I will make a decision. And after the decision, I will release this information to my network. So the network they will think about is like, even though they didn't engage for the decision process, at least they have been through the engagement process. So like this idea have already been listened during for in this decision making. Yeah. So I think this will be my solution for like to decrease the communication problem between me and my network. Yeah. Thank you.
The thing I'm going to share when you ask LCP, I was LCP 2017, you always had a lot of argument between the LC and the MC all the time. So I think that after this journey, like one thing I really like everyone argue a lot is about like we need to change our membership, like the model or like the criteria to make sure our organization can be stable. So what I mentioned is what we argue about. In the end, one thing is really important is called intention. Which is what is our intention about how can we make sure we are on the same page. The previous time we cannot communicate really well, it's just because we always focus on, yeah, the change is happening. I think that we can do it, we can do that. But originally, what's our intention to protect this kind of the issue or discussion? So I think, for me, at that moment, I realized I raised out the topics about what is our intention or organization, what we want to look forward. Everyone has the same page. Yeah, everyone has the same page. So what's the challenge we have? What is the possibility we have? If we all agree with it, the thing we need to do is to solve the challenge. It's not only to just emphasize we cannot overcome this challenge. So also in my future, I also want to engage all the membership, like all the national leaders. We're talking about the intention, we're talking about the objectives, and then if we agree with it, we need to solve together. We need to challenge this entity to become a better future, become a better view of the AIESEC. So that's my baseline experience, and also how we can make it better. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So very nice around engagement and sharing intention. And it is now January 2019, and at the beginning of the year, everyone's always very enthusiastic, full of energy at a conference like this. Even the way you came in, it's very powerful, right? And what I tend to find is like anything, when you start, it's all full of energy, like a race car. And then yesterday we mentioned change agent, but also sometimes we feel like a change victim. So as the year goes on, and with any change process, with any development, we always go through this valley of, we call the valley of moaning and groaning. So when everybody is complaining, everyone is unhappy, they are low energy, they're tired and fed up. So what's going to be your strategy when you get to that low point to bring people back up? Because it's fun to start on a high, but what happens when we fall into that valley of unhappiness?
That's true. Being predicated is all about solar solution. In Taiwan, it's interesting question. Based on my personal leadership style, I'm always the one who share the really positive energy, also make some fun. Even last time I did just meet me, I also do some ridiculous things, like sew up the lunchbox, something else. So I'm the really weird, or even like really weird person. Like always have pop up different kinds of ideas. But I think that is my strength. That is my leadership style is about. I always can share about some positive energy and also share about like some fun things, even make fun of old LCP or even like do something else. So it's just like it's not only talk about strategies, also talk about the leader or what is the energy you bring into the whole plenary. So like even the self management is also important. For me, before I check in all the conference, I always ask myself, like, what should I put the energy in this conference? If I feel tired, all the members should feel tired. If I feel energetic, everyone, some of them may be sleepy, this is fine. It's like how I manage the energy and bring it to the whole plenary. So I think that's the first thing I think as a leader, you also need to manage all the energy and spread out what your thoughts and what is your behavior, it will truly impact the whole membership and the whole plenary. As I learned from my facilitation experience, also what I was a leader experience. The second thing is about like the way we change methodology. Sometimes we will do the one way deliver on the stage, also deliver another topic that it just share what we thoughts, they truly influence all membership. Maybe some of them they are practical, they really want to take some action. Some of them need to see the clear picture or clear point of view. Some of them use the verbal to make sure everyone is on the same page. So the methodology we need to change based on our like daily needs. What's our daily background? If now the EB left, we need to do more practice to foresee what will happen in the future. And we need to do more experience sharing to know what is their future look like. So it's not only about like the low energy, it's also about the methodology we change. We will change the mindset and change the way they start to learn how important the top end is. So that's the two things I want to mention, and also how to energize all the plenary.
And so for me, like my answer for this question would be like, for me when I'm facing this kind of problem, when my team is getting really low temperature, and I'm thinking about is like I will do more is like to help them to guide them, go through the whole process. So I want to be a person who just like go, no worry, don't be sad. I'll be a person who's like, first help you to define what's the problem, what did you need ready, how did you need right now. If you need some time, then I'll just give you some time. If you need someone to talk with, I'll be the one who will definitely accompany with you. Yeah, so it's like I'll help them to go through this process and then give them more mentally or even physically support. So for me, I think AIESEC, that's how we cultivate leadership. The leader on the journey. So even though they are facing a really difficult challenge like for the outer journey, the main point is how can we transform into the inner journey. So instead of just energize them, I'll be more like accompanying with them and to help them define what the problem is and give them my solution to it and even like help them to go through this kind of temperature low point. Yeah, so I think that's also my leadership style. Yeah, thank you.
So AIESEC is what we describe as a learning organization. So the growth of the organization, large part of it is depends on learning, people that they're learning inside of this organization. So from a leadership perspective, how would you describe the learning culture of AIESEC in Taiwan?
Okay. Recently, I think like AIESEC in Taiwan learning style would be like just learning by doing. Like we actually emphasize more about did they really take the action, or did they really having the result after the training. Yeah, so it's like, but I think that's the problem with this one would be like if we're too focusing on the result, maybe we kind of like lose our intention for the training. Because like the intention of the training will be more likely to make sure like this person did he or she get the ability for facing this kind of crisis or facing this kind of operation. But if we too care about the result, maybe we will lose like we will be more too intense about we ask them to require them to have the result just after the training. Yeah, so but I think we can do a balance maybe in the future term of 1819 and also in 1920. I think I would also want to keep this culture like learning by doing because I think that's the most valuable point in AIESEC because no one is an expert, no one is a professional. We just do it by learning by doing it, and then after a bit of experiences, we can be a professional in our own field. Yeah, so I think that would be my answer. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Beatrice. I think the point of it is a little bit different. In the past, we can call AIESEC learning by doing organization. Is we learn, we do a breakthrough. But right now, I think a little bit is a little bit changes what we are vertical like function management. We sometimes like MC centralize a lot of things, and also like don't get to remember. It's just like sometimes we'll follow process, follow the operation. I didn't see like more and more breakthrough. Still have ILC have some breakthrough part. The last time that we still cooperate with the government, cooperate with the our education fair, cooperate with the like the funds for fundraise to do the sponsorship of their product development, and that's a really good idea. We see that getting getting more and more people like that lost this kind of thing. The main point is like our foundation. Like we're not only build our foundation, also raise up the innovation. So just like how can we make sure we create different kinds of experience to let all the people know their potential. In the past, we have trainer. In the past, we have like different kinds of training summit or conference. Also recently, we have marketing summit. And this kind of experience can truly let the people start to learn, become a growth mindset person. This will ignite their desire to learn more, to learn what is the difference, and how can we trigger more and think bit more. So that's the first thing I want to emphasize. This entity need to have different kinds of diverse learning experience. The second, how can we make sure our leader, we are leading the team. We are not creative follower, we are also creative leaders. So make sure we can raise down all the conversation is about we as a national leader, what kind of topic we need to challenge this entity, what kind of topic we need to solve, and what kind of topic we need to overcome all of it. So it's not only about MC state that you should do it, it's also about what kind of your opinion, what is our perspective. If our intention is the same, how can we deal with all the situation and make this organization into the brilliant future? So I think that is the reason this organization needs to really change and also let this solution can lead this organization transform all the membership mindset we have.
Thank you very much. Sounds like both of you are very valued about the growth mindset that most of the membership in AIESEC that they need to grow to that level so that they go to the next level. That will be the benefit mindset that we talked about. Practically, so I would like to know more about, so you see what would be the pros and cons of the current learning culture in AIESEC. As a leader, knowing what to prioritize is very important. You have a very big issues waiting for you to transform in terms of the learning culture. So what would be your priority? Because you can't start 10 things at the same time. So to address this issue, what would be your priority to start with, to start to transform the learning culture that you just mentioned to a more ideal or a better learning culture to facilitate the development of the members here?
Thank you for this question. For me, the first priority will be the MCT. Because MC are the leader who leads this organization. If we didn't change our mindset, we didn't prepare well, like our mindset, our leadership character, and our skills in specific function. If we didn't change it, and later it will truly impact to the whole, like the membership. What is our future direction? Is that clear? Is that make sure we are moving the right direction, move forward? What is our idealizing our by? Second is an LCP. We LCP who organize, who lead this LC into the brilliant future. So the LCP, we didn't have a strong mindset. When they face a challenge, are they avoid of it or deal with it? If they see the possibility or see the negative side. I think these two parts of thing I can emphasize to cultivate their like the curiosity and the skills and also their mindset. In the end, how can we impact this organization? These are the people who can truly influence of a whole entity. So that's the two parts because leaders are the fundamental solution. Like previous time, like the Malala, who just like resolved like Iran's like women education issue. She has a strong power and raise all the people that are aware of it. That is the main point. It's about leader can lead a whole organization better. You can lead the organization to the shift. Yeah, something like that. So that is my priority. I also want to emphasize development. Before I got on board, and also when I board the first 2 months.
So for my first priority, also the MC team, because I wish we are the national leaders and we should be as example. So like we have to first change our mindset and even though to change our learning style to like profound ourselves. And the second one I will define is about the channel. The channel and the attachment that we are going to having with our network. Because like we have a lot of channel like for example national function meeting, LCP meeting, or even those training summit, something like that. So how can we define all the like objective or all the like element about the attachment with them? And the third one will be to make sure like do we really deliver this kind of learning style or this kind of learning concept to our network. So maybe we'll do some evaluation or like to make sure like the local community or even the network really get what is the MC talking about. Because sometimes it's like once MC deliver one thing down to the network, but they maybe didn't really understand about it. So maybe we still have to do some evaluation process to make sure that the things are really implemented downscale into the network. Yeah, so these 3 will be my priorities. Thank you.
So I have a slightly different question here. And we often talk about as a leader or anybody who's standing in the front trying to influence people, you will get amongst your crowd, your team, your audience, varied responses. So whoever wins this race at the end, you're going to be standing there in the front and there'll be 2% of the people who are going to just love you no matter what. They're your biggest fans and they already loved you from the beginning, whoever, whatever status you are. And then there will also be 2% who just don't like you and perhaps even dislike you very strongly. Whatever you say or whatever you try to do, they've already made up their mind that they don't like you. And then there's the what's 4, and then we have 96%. My math's not that great. So the rest is 96% of the people who are kind of in between, right? So sometimes they're like, oh, you're okay. Sometimes they're happy with you. Sometimes maybe so. They're all in the middle. They're fine either way. No special feelings. So with these 3 groups of people, as a leader, which group would you spend your energy on taking care of? Or spending your time focusing on? Yes, if you can only choose one group to really spend your energy on, would it be your biggest fans, your haters, or the group in between, the 94% where they're like in between, not too sure?
Okay, so for me, I think I will focus on the 96% of the people. The reason why is like, I believe that the 2% of people who really like me, they definitely know what is my strength or something like that. So I could console them about why do they like me and like to emphasize my strength and into those 96% of people. So they can know more about me and like to more understand about me. Yeah, so, and also like for this 96 people, I believe like they must have some times maybe they disagree with me also. So I'm also asking them about why did they disagree with me, so that I can also like change my mindset, also change my personalities. It's kind of like that. So because for those 2% of haters, I'm thinking about that maybe I have to first know more about what is my personal disadvantage and my weakness, so that when I really get well known about this kind of element, so that I can really convince those 2% of people. Yeah, so I think I'll first focus on the 96% of people. Yeah, thank you.
For me, I also focus on 96% people. Because that 2% people really love me, and I'm really the person who really care about how the other people looks at me. And I'm really high innovating, high initiating. I really care about like how people feel at me. That's true. That is my own this experience. I really love myself about this part. But one thing I want to emphasize is about if the last 2% of people, they have different kinds of style, and also trust my leadership style, trust my direction. I only put a little bit effort to let them know that how can we encourage all the 96% of people to let them know like because these 2% of people they have different kinds of the leadership characteristic. Maybe the rest of the 96% of people and also love 2% of them. So what I'm going to do is put a big effort on 2%, and the rest of part to empower all of them to use my team and use the people who follow me to encourage all the membership. What we're going to do to move the next. So that's my answer.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think that will be over the ends of the external panel. And one of the biggest learning that's from this external panel is that when you have the right guest, being hosted very easy. Yeah, so that's one of the biggest learning also as well. Yeah, but I also like reflect a lot, like while Beatrice and Kara ask the questions, and it also reflect me a lot when I'm being an MCP for this half terms, no matter it's like being a product leaders that change behavior, or it's like how you do the communication, or how you really bring the people when they are in the low mood. This is like one of the challenges that I also facing when I'm being MCP. So I've been really learning a lot, and also sometimes I will keep reflecting what I am going to answer the questions. So yeah, I think this is really good, and I hope for the primary also as well to know leadership in another perspective, especially from external. So hope that you also get some of the learning and learn a lot from this external panel. So I think that will be all of it. I'll thank you for our beloved guests, Kara and Beatrice. Thank you so much. Beatrice back to their seats. Yeah. Okay, so I will hand back to our innovation manager.
Okay, so right now, can we have OC and help me to change the set? And please, two candidates to sit in the middle of the chair. Yeah, the chair of the middle. Yeah, just need to okay. So why we are doing this change? Because later we are going to proceed LC questioning. Okay. So for LC questioning, each LC can ask the question they have submitted yesterday. Yeah. So the order will be the order that you are sitting right now from MCPU. Okay. So if your question shows in the screen, then you can just sit up and ask your question. Okay. And after the LC questioning, we will have our last chance to ask the candidate questions that you still want to ask. And in that part, we will only have 3 chances to ask them the question. And so for the whole questioning regulation, each of the question will have preparation time, answering order, and objective. And so the LC representative, after you ask the question and listen to their answer, you have to explain your objective as well. And so for the bell reminder, we will ring the bell once when there's 30 seconds left. And when the time's up, we will ring the bell nonstop. And in LC questioning, every question will have 1 minute preparation time and 1 minute answering time. Okay. So right now, we can have our first question start. So, Candy, are you ready?
Hi, Tony. Hi, Eric. Here is the question from AIESEC and DPU. In your opinion, what's the biggest challenge Taiwan is facing now? If you have a chance to choose a stakeholder related to the challenge and speak to him or her, what will you say as 1920 AIESEC in Taiwan MCP? For this question, you have 1 minute to think and 1 minute to answer. Thank you.
Take this over.
Eric.
Okay, thanks for the diffuse question. So my answer will be, I will focusing on the problem will be like the talent losing right now in Taiwan society. The person I'm going to talk to will be the president, 英文猜 president. Yeah. So what I'm going to talk with her is like telling them about how youth potential could be in your society could be. So like I will tell them more about the data reference, like how I think Taiwan cultivate youth in our own way, practical experiences and challenging environment. And also how can we use our product to support Taiwanese youth to be more like energetic or to make our youth be more diversity. So like during this conversation, I hope the angle will be like the England Chinese president could know more about what is AIESEC Taiwan doing and also how can we utilize AIESEC Taiwan resources to support the talent like losing from Taiwan. Because like they have to see more about the potential about what can they stay in Taiwan. So I think by the youth potential of AIESEC Taiwan we are creating right now, it could be a reference for the president to make a decision. Yeah, and this will be my answer for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy, representing ASEAN TPU. My answer will be President Tsai. There are three things I want to emphasize. First is generation lost. Second, leadership. Third, youth movement based on policy. First of all, right now I show data in open speech. Only 8.6% people that youth feels satisfied about their the environment in Taiwan now. I want to raise the issues about what is our generation future, how can we perceive as the youth future look like. Second is about leadership. I think right now, like we need to emphasize about what is the president think about leadership, what is the youth, how important can influence his organization. So leadership, I want to raise the topic with the president. Let me talk about how youth can influence about society. Third part, youth movement based on policy. It's not only talk about like the new thousand policy. It's also talk about like education affair, foreign affair. These different kinds of department. How can we truly to engage that ASEAN provide product experience and also our experience can truly align with government policy that we support each other to make Taiwan better. Thank you.
The objective of the question is to know whether candidates are aware of societal trend in Taiwan and how they position AIESEC in Taiwan as a MCP. Thank you. Okay, hello candidate. This is a question from FJU. And please tell us which leadership qualities the other candidate has and lack of, and how will it affect his 1920 term. And this question have 1 minute to prepare and 1 minute to answer. The answer will start from Tony.
Okay, my answer was a how to vary is about first of all he has really strong demonstrating integrity. Like because I based on my ESL experience and when I do the NCEP team, it really through everything is really right. What is right and wrong? He has really strong like perspective, and you always hold what is thing is truly right, and it's not allowed to like make sure everyone we're demonstrating integrity when we say it and we do it. As I really appreciate every like doing that my leader your member experience also with the other team right now. And I think I will not he doesn't have is that we can be better, just like the activated leadership. His leadership is not only about like how can we lead a team. It's all about how can we communicate the diverse like experience and embrace different kind of perspective. I think based on my experience things, I think can be better for when you communicate with like, different kinds of people. How can we solve the difficulty issue? So that's my perspective. Thank you.
Okay, so for me, thanks for your question. And for Tony, I think he's really good at empowering others. Because like in our team, he's also the person who like the most energetic and most positive person. So he brings a lot of positive energy to our team. Even though we are facing a lot of discussion problems, or even all face a lot of like difficulties with the LC's communication. Yeah, so I think that's like a good point for you, and thank you. Yeah, but for another part, like I think Tony will be a little bit lack of will be a solution oriented this dimension. Because like sometimes like Tony this role has a lot of things to do with OD. Like have to make sure about the LC communication, MC communication, and even a lot of system revising. So there's a lot of things for him to do. He's like doing the priorities, or even though facing some pressure about it, it costs him like a little lack of more action oriented. Like instead of thinking about a lot of problem, but sometimes he will face some difficulties to make the priority and really make the thing done. Yeah, so I think this may be the thing to work on. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks for the answer. The objective is to know more about the candidate's leadership style from different perspectives.
Okay, so hi Tony and hi Eric. Here's the question from AIESEC and TU. And we have a topic that curious about your opinions for whether AIESEC should publicly express our opinions and views on social issues. And each of you can choose a positive side and negative side from your perspective. And you have 1 minute to prepare and 1 minute to answer. And the answer start from candidate number 2.
Okay, so from our opinion, I think it's yes. Because actually this organization will represent the youth voice of us in Taiwan, or even of Taiwanese society. So I think the first reason will be like represent the youth voice. And second reason will be like, because like every time when the government they release an information or a policy, we should speak up for it. So we like the government through our think page, we can know more about what is our perspective about the government's policy. So the second reason is for this one. And the third one is like maybe sometimes we don't have to be really strict about our own opinion. We can be like sending a message in a more mutual way. So thinking about providing more data reference to like to let the governments know about like every decision we make is based on some data, but even though some like pros and cons, so that even though we really release information about the youth voice, it wouldn't be too straight to the society. Yeah, so that was my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy, from TU presenting this question. And my answer will be yes. And also just like based on my future direction, I want to see because access to the powerful, we're a powerful engaged partner, and also in the end we co-create a leadership experience into every youth in Taiwan. So I think one position I think just like we are the youth leadership movement, and we are the top youth leadership organization. We cultivate the youth competitivity and also our leadership capacity. So the most things we need to emphasize about how can we raise awareness about our youth. They can focus on what is the leadership we'll have in the future. Not rather based on the policy issue, based on the social awareness, what kind of issue we have and to react with them. How can we be as a leader to react this kind of the issue, to think about what's our opinion. Because right now, you know, like after like the mayor election, we can see about we are still living the same level of what is our opinion. But the thing I want to emphasize is this is the society truly look like. So what I think we should react, we as a leader, we as a youth, how can we shout out our voice to that raise everyone awareness is about how can we based on like the release sensitive decision making to do the right decision and also what is our future look like. And that is a topic we immediately raise like during the our fan page or different channel to raise what is our youth awareness. So that's the answer is yes. Thank you.
Okay, so for this question, the objective is to know if candidates understand the role of AIESEC in Taiwan in the society and the perspective of experience different opinion of an organization's pros and cons. Yeah.
Okay, hi, Tony and Eric. And this is a question from Steve. With current talent status, what would you propose in order to achieve organizational talent sustainability and with no limitation, just like don't care about AI? And you have 1 minute to prepare time and 1 minute to answer. And the answer will start from Tony.
Thank you, Adam, for representing you for this question. My answer will be emphasize from quantity-based and quality-based. First of all, quantity. When we emphasize quantity, in the short term, we need to reposition about marketing strategy. As a line to like the LC timeline, what else impression timeline, should it be that what is the key preparation else can have, and what MC will do. So let's say reposition when we have the product packaging and product management. We need to emphasize this kind of part. Long way around, we should focus on brand management. It's not only about like our recruitment, this topic. It's also about how can we raise the awareness about leadership is important. And then as a product, provide this opportunity for you to discover potential. Second, quality. Quality is not only about like the leader we have. Imagine like why is it I said so many reasons. You found a position, you found a role model you want to pursue. And right now, how AIESEC can like position like this, to create more leaders and attract leaders that every member should pursue and also see the potential they will see in AIESEC. So that would be my answer for talent sustainability. It's not only about like the talent, also the leadership quality. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your question. And my answer will be like, because based on my manifesto, my 3-year picture of us in Taiwan is that we could be the voice of youth, and also we could engage more like society, like society campaign, something like that. So for my first year of my learning path will be like our first customized learning path of us in Taiwan, no matter from middle member or even vice president. So we will utilize like the personal development plan to make sure like every membership they can get their professional competency during the first year, and for the second year is to more emphasize about the global environment learning. So maybe thinking about how can we really support our AIESEC membership, like thinking about not only for Taiwan perspective, but also going for the other country, maybe to engage more at Asia Pacific conference, or maybe engage more at other entities conference. So we can make sure about we are really cultivating a global learning leaders instead of only like running for Taiwan operation. And for the third year would be like, so this talent will be like have more practical skills and also have more relevant with the global issues. Yeah. Okay. So thank you.
Okay, thanks for your answer. And the question of the object of the question is to know candidates' perspective of the accessibility of organizational.
So now we have some situation. Just we have to break a little bit. So we have 10 minutes break right now. Yeah, so you can go out to fresh and drink water and use for your legs. Okay.
Okay, so now you have 10 minutes break. So if you have feeling a little bit sleepy, that make sure that you have energy high, go to a toilet break. And all the chief delegates and all the LCP currents that come to the stage right now. Okay, thank you so much. And all the
说一句吧，我做了一件蠢事。
有吗？
啊？
没有。 这个进去会被死掉。让他们睡一下。这因为是太负面，所以就要挨，因为在后面。
我们现在刚好中场休息。
直播可以暂停，像他这个没有办法暂停。你找银行钱别忘记，找银行钱。我们有耶哦
10吗？好的。你想要穿完可以 bring back 吗？
我觉得应该4点10分那一次，不然就可以去。
上 LC 课程已经结束了，在下班了。
Oh my god! Oh my god!
大家有空还要小心。
不好意思。
没关系，那我先教大家怎么小心。
我外套在熬，衣服在熬。
因为你在吃。
我想打喷嚏。
踢得好累了是吗？是啊。哎呀，有这种感觉。跟上一场的怎么说？就是感觉
你上一场踢得很认真。
因为我觉得实在是这一代城市好，那好玩，就是我蛮喜欢的。那我就听得很
没有，主要是想那个前面那个，
对前面刚那个
前面那个
感觉会让
大家以精神放一下，然后给后面的亏选的，因为亏选的我就觉得大家精神都还不错，
对，
他是抄笔记抄超认真的。
哦。然后今天就是前面的很多人都在，
对，然后可以接到后面的亏选的，整个精神就不是很好。
我觉得 talk 很精彩就是翠丝他们会问问题。
哦，我有听到他们问的都蛮精彩的。
还是中午太累吗？早上 workshop 太累，到下午有点太累。你知道早上我们那个 marketing 那边，大家就是整个气氛，然后那个是研发那个，我忘记还有，然后还有说擀面，他在问问题的时候就没有人回答。你的微胖我在看着。今天要不要来 party 呢？
有，他们有在问，然后
就别人给后面接 function party。对
啊，半夜火接，
就是把酒偷偷带走。没错。
但明天有分我的浪漫，对啊，我过来的话就
有办法玩。哦，那干了。
可以揪一下，好像有在问吧，但我不知道他们到底有没有揪成功。
好啊，你赶快 push 一下。
我叫那个李伟成，他好像第一天我问他的时候，他就说要来啊。
好，可以。然后下一场什么？